This is Hidden Killers with Tony Brewski.
This is a case that really makes you question how people in positions of power can get things so horrifically wrong. Picture this. It's August of 2018. 27-year-old Hardel Sherrell finds himself in the Beltrami, I think that's how we say it, Beltrami County Jail in Minnesota. Now, being locked up is already a rough situation, but Sherrell wasn't just any inmate. He had a history of respiratory issues and high blood pressure, meaning the need for at least some level of medical attention. At first, though, he seemed stable. He wasn't showing any major red flags when he was booked. Well, that did not last long. Just 3 days in, he started feeling serious chest pains and tingling in his left hand. Classic warning signs that something is not right. The jail medical team does an EKG, gives him some pain meds, and he casually mentions that he stopped taking his blood pressure medication months ago. Not ideal, but again, nothing that screams immediate medical emergency at this point. But here's where things take a turn for the worst. Over the next few days, Sherrell's condition nosedives. He keeps falling out of his bunk. Not normal. He's complaining about numbness in his legs, also not normal. By August 31st, things are looking downright terrifying. He's flat on the floor, unable to move. His mouth is drooling and drooping, and his speech is slurred. Now, you don't need to be a doctor to recognize that those are serious neurological symptoms. Something is happening inside his body, and it's not good. A jail doctor takes him and thinks, hey, this could be Guillain-Barré Syndrome. Now, for those who aren't familiar, that's a rare autoimmune disorder where your immune system basically turns on your nervous system and starts paralyzing you from the feet up. The good news, it's treatable if you catch it in time. The bad news, if you don't, well, let's just say that things can go south very, very fast. So they send Sherrell to the hospital, hoping to get him some answers. And this is where the failure train really starts rolling at full speed. Instead of doing a deep dive into what's happening to this man, an ER doctor takes a look at him and decides, nah, he's faking it. The official diagnosis, malingering and weakness. I didn't know that was a diagnosis. In other words, the doctor thought Sherrell was pretending to be sick because apparently paralyzing yourself from the neck down is just so convenient when you're in jail. So back to his cell he goes. Enter Michelle Rose Scrotch. A lovely name, isn't it? A 37-year-old nurse working for the Mend Correctional Care, LLC, which, by the way, is a for-profit company that provides health care in jails. So, best care money can buy. Scrotch starts to shift on September 1st. At this point, Sherrell's condition is so bad that everyone around him can see something is very, very wrong. Officers are telling her that he's getting worse. But does she go into nurse mode and address or assess the situation? Nope. According to prosecutors, she stands at his cell door, doesn't even walk in and tells him, you can walk if you want to. It's a lovely thing, our prison system. Now imagine being literally paralyzed and having the person responsible for your care tell you to just get up and walk it off. Sherrell, who by this point is probably terrified, begs for help. And what does Scrotch allegedly say? I will not bargain with you, as if she's dealing with a toddler throwing a tantrum over candy, not a man who's physically unable to move his own body. Over the next 2 days, it just gets worse. Scrotch, the trained medical professional, does not once take his vital signs. Not his heart rate, not his oxygen levels, not his blood pressure even. Nothing. This is a person, yes, in jail, but we are a humane society and we do take care of human beings. Meanwhile, Sherrell is unable to eat, drink, or even go to the bathroom by himself. The guy is completely dependent on the people around him to save his life. And they're all acting like he's just being dramatic. At one point, she tells a jail doctor that Sherrell is improving. which is weird because video footage from the jail reportedly shows him lying there, barely breathing, struggling for air in rapid, shallow breaths. If that's improving, I'd hate to see what she considers critical condition. And then, the inevitable. It happens at 4:46 p.m. on September the 2nd. Officers find Sherrell unresponsive in his cell, and it's too late. He's dead. The final cause, pneumonia, and a cerebral edema, swelling in his brain. A second pathologist confirmed that Guillain-Barré Syndrome played a role as well. But the real cause, absolute utter neglect. Here's the part that really stings. Multiple medical experts have said that if Sherrell had received basic medical care, nothing special, just basic medical care, he almost certainly would have survived. He wasn't beyond saving. But instead of treating him, they dismissed him, and that decision cost him his life. Sherrell's mother wasn't about to let this slide. She sued the county and Mend Correctional Care, and rightfully so. The result, a $2.6 million settlement. If that wasn't enough of a wake-up call, Minnesota lawmakers stepped in and passed the Hardel Sherrell Act, which gives the Department of Corrections greater oversight of county jails. Because apparently it takes a completely preventable death for people to realize, hey, maybe we should actually monitor what's happening inside of these facilities. Might be a good idea. And for Scrotch, well, her nursing license has been revoked. I know, we're all shocked by this. And after 6 years of waiting, she was finally arrested last Friday. Now she's facing second-degree manslaughter, which basically means neglect homicide, and 2 counts of felony criminal neglect. She's set to appear in court on April 11th, where hopefully she'll have to answer for what happened. At the end of the day, this case isn't just about one nurse's alleged failure. It's about the entire system that's allowed this to happen. A doctor dismissed Sherrell's symptoms as fake. The jail's medical team ignored every red flag, and at every step, the people who were supposed to help him did nothing. If a human being can literally die under your watch while begging for help and you don't even bother to check their vital signs, what does that say about the system we have in place? So yeah, 6 years later, justice might finally be catching up. But for Sherrell and his family, it's a bit too late.
Mm-hmm. You know, and my guess is you have to be pretty hardened to work in that environment.
Sure.
Because she's probably seen a lot of things. She's probably has seen people faking it to get out. Fully believe that. But as a medical professional, you should be able to detect when someone's really sick. And had she taken vital signs, that's like the least amount of care you could give to someone is check their vitals. She might have seen it.
Before you're going to start saying you're faking it, how about you check to make sure? How about we just take a good close look and go, okay, he's not faking it. That wouldn't be hard. It's also your job. It's also what you're there to do. But there's this attitude that exists with some, and I'm sure there's people listening to it right now going, well, he should have thought of that before he got himself in jail. Okay. We're not Nazis. I mean, we're getting close, but we're not Nazis. I mean, just look at the atmosphere in our country. It's like, okay. But we're not. At least the sane ones are not. And you do help people. But we see so many cases where the treatment in jail for medical things, sometimes it goes way overboard, and then sometimes it goes like this, where absolutely nothing is being done. I mean, look at the Delphi case in Richard Allen, who was supposed to be in county jail. They put him in solitary confinement for 14 months. A man who's not been convicted of anything. He ends up getting so delusional, he's eating his own poop and running headfirst into brick walls and writing confession notes that look like something out of Romper Room. And that's supposed to be acceptable.
That's so sad.
And this is the American prison system. Now, it's not quite, then you get go to a Mexican jail, go to one over there. Yeah, you know what? We're not them.
Right.
We're not them. And there's a reason we're not them. If you'd like us to become them, well, we'll just keep going down this path because we will get there. Just keep trucking. But we're not them. And there's a reason we're not them. because we like to put ourselves to a higher standard. If we all want to lower that standard and just go, well, screw it to everybody. You commit a crime, you no longer have right to health care. And I don't know what this guy did. I really don't. Maybe he's a horrible human being. But
maybe
still,
he's not.
Maybe he's not.
He's a victim of circumstance.
Maybe he's not.
I don't know.
Either way, we don't just execute people when they commit crimes or leave them to die. Mm-hmm. But apparently here they did. And that's just not okay.
Well, and I got the feeling she probably at this point thought she was so in the clear.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder, did she see this coming? Because that happened, 2018 or something like that?
Yeah, 18. So we're talking several years ago now.
She's been out for a long time, and these charges were just filed against her.
Wonder why it took so long.
I don't know. But, court system, and then there was a civil lawsuit. I'm guessing it was a civil case that the mom won all the money.
Yeah. And then somebody did some oversight and went, we got to look at this a little bit closer because
who knows, there could be some other cases that were brought to their attention that they needed to look into this person. I don't know. I just said that. But if she's the nurse, her job is to go in and check their vitals and take every case seriously, even if they are faking it. You need to at least go investigate and figure out if you can see what's wrong with them or not.
I'm going to guess this didn't happen in a vacuum. I'm going to guess this is not the only person that didn't receive adequate care. I'm doubting that they just singled him out and said, oh, not you, but everybody else. I'm going to guess there's a track record and a pattern. And if there is, well, that's not going to be good for that company. that's not going to be good for business. Or the prison system. But we have these atrocities all the time in our prison system, and nobody does anything because it's the prison system. Like, well, they deserve it. It's getting pretty bad in a lot of places. It's getting pretty bad. And it's not anything I think any American should be proud of going, that's what we got going on here. But if you stick your hands in your ears and go la, 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 la long enough, you never have to see it or understand it or worry about it or contemplate any of the things that are going on. You just pretend it's not happening. And that's what I think a lot of folks do.
And had it not been for the mom pursuing this, this guy would have never gotten justice. If he didn't have family that still cared. Yeah. And because I'm going to guess for the mom, she got a good amount of money, but it's really about justice. Yeah. And there's that happened to your own kid. Yeah. That I couldn't imagine that they just let him die. I would be outraged. Had he not had someone who was outraged, this would have never come to light. There should be an advocate for people. There should be checks and balances in these systems so one person just can't go off the rails and do this sort of stuff. But when the whole system is broken and there's no checks and balances and the whole thing is just simply for profit and we're going to treat these people less than even animals, like we're kind of looking at you like a dying plant over here that we might just rip out of the ground because it's dead. It's not good. Not good. And there's a lot of this going on in our system. There really is. And it doesn't affect until it affects you personally or someone you know personally. And then it's like, oh my gosh, this is an outrage. You should be outraged right now before it gets to be where it is going. Absolutely.
The world of true crime never stops, and neither do we. Press subscribe now to get daily updates, in-depth analysis, and expert opinions from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.